According to Bob. If you've stumbled on this channel, welcome back. Wait, no. If you've stumbled on this channel for the very first time, welcome. If not, welcome back. Today I will be talking about the world according to Bob, and throwing a little bit of my personal history with Bob and James. I've never met them. I was very sad to hear Bob die, but they've been my online neighbors, which is what I call the other videos that pop up next to me, for years now. I remember when I first, and this was the first couple chapters for me, when I first found out about Bob and James, I was in a psychologist's office. My psychologist had just told me I suffer from low self-esteem. So he looked up my channel. And then first thing that pops up is World According to Bob, because that is what I was going by at the time. Fans. I was like, I have fans? It gave me such a boost. And come to find out it's fans for Bob the cat. And for a while there, if you go back and watch my videos, I disliked the cat and James and the whole deal. I now realize it wasn't their fault. You know, they were just living life too. And as a writer, I hope that if I have a crumb of their success, just a crumb, I'd be happy. But that's my personal take on the first few chapters, because I still had that hatred in my heart. And then I came to realize, like I said, it really wasn't their fault. They had unintentionally named themselves the same thing. Or I had named myself the same thing. And as I progressed through the book, I thought more about Bob like I would my dogs, which you have seen throughout my videos, and one is featured in my beginning. Like when that lady accuses James of not taking care of Bob. Makes a big scene, a spectacle. And I don't know, this might have been the same lady. Might have come back. Or it might have been a separate lady. Either she comes back later in the book, I forget, and accuses him of drugging Bob. Or this different lady does that. I just thought to myself, what would I think if they accused me of doing that to Serena and Annie? I love those dogs. I loved Sam, and quite frankly, it would disgust me if these people tried to take away my only one lifeline, you know, which is what Bob is to James. He refers to him at the end as his soulmate. And yeah, I kind of felt for him by that point. And like I said, as someone who's trying to publish a book himself, I liked where it was headed. I, and when he met Paul McCartney, I was, by that point, very happy for him. Boris Johnson, I felt he was just showing off, being kind of a braggart. But Paul McCartney, by that point, I was like, good for you, James. Um, you may recall in my prior review, I mentioned I was going to do this book and that my younger viewers may not want to take part in reading this book and doing this review with me because of the drug usage. But that was around the time in the book he finds a guy within his last moments on his flat steps. He has either injected himself or going to inject himself with heroin. And that constantly comes back to James within this book. He realizes the, the fragility of life. And that life isn't to be wasted. I didn't read the first book, just a street cat named Bob. But I was able to understand the characters in this book on a human level without reading the first book. I have friends like that. I have friends I want to include in my story as well. Because your life wouldn't be the same without them. I didn't know who Belle was, but it it quickly occurred to me that James saw Belle as a very important person in his life. And if I've read the room wrong, inform me. I'm an American. To me, the Britishisms of like the street performers and the big issue sellers and the street the street people being being more of a community than they are here in America. We don't we don't openly advertise our street food like that. But all right, Mom. See you in a minute. All right. It just seems more dogs were barking. It just seemed more part of the culture in that country, and the way he interacted with the big issue. It just maybe the big issue sellers aren't that big a thing, and he's making it bigger than need be. But I don't know. As an American, I found that fascinating because we have programs over here you're not supposed to. They're supposed to give you a leg up. They aren't supposed to be forever permanent. And then there's programs that actually become part of your life. And how, how James had a counselor and he had to obey certain rules. It really struck a chord with me. Being that I'm always kind of looked a little strange at myself, being a person with a disability over here. Um, I kind of related to when he said people looked at him that way. And I hope my book can impact people like he says his did in the epilogue. How it bettered his relationship with his family and just made his life better. By that point, I was like, good for him. But there are certain there are certain there are certain points that I still felt a little bit concerned that this was going on in the world. Um, without going too much into the book itself, which I kind of had to spoil, I'm glad Bob was able to help him in such a way that he was able to kick his habit and actually make his life better and pull himself up by his own bootstraps. Sometimes you have to make those bootstraps. It's not always the bootstraps are what we're given. No, there are sometimes opportunities in life to make yourself get pulled up on a societal rung. I'm not sa- I'm not saying that everyone can do everything, but I am saying that I definitely believe that he succeeded because of the people he had around him. And I liked that he pointed that out, you know. I'm Bob. I do book I do book reviews, comic book reviews, video games, and whatever suits my fancy that day. And if you've liked this book review and are finding me through Bob and James, which again I'd like to thank for being there. I don't care that their videos got 1,200K and my top one only has, yeah. It's Axiom's End. If you don't count the one I put in that website, Axiom's End's the top. It's only 100. Like, needless to say, I'd like to thank them for being sports and allowing me to be the world according to Bob for as long as I was. I will still continue to be the other world according to Bob as long as you you keep watching my videos and making my life worthwhile. If any of what I've mentioned sounds appealing to you, stick around, like, comment, subscribe. I've been Bob. This has been The Other World According to Bob. Keep reading books. Bob out. I hope that wasn't too rambly. Forgot something. Um, some of the other books I've reviewed are first three Fu Manchu books. Axiom's End, like I mentioned. Treasure Island, which was the only other place I knew about for a death rattle. I thought I thought that was something Robert Louis Stevenson had made up, but it turns out that's real. That you will be getting that in this book. Um, but the other books I've read include the John Carter Warlord of Mars series. Honestly, it'd be more appropriate to say I've memorized. But I do use read a lot as just a euphemism. But again, needless to say, it's quite a playlist here on my channel. If any of those books sound interesting to you, you might also enjoy Wizards of my review of the Wizards of Ranelagh series by my friend Walter. Um, the Ride of a Lifetime, or the Maltese Falcon. Like, comment, subscribe.